and welcome back to Why Won't You Watch Corrie, the podcast where I, Emily, continue my mission to convert my sister Vic into a full-time Coronation Street viewer, with the help of Legacy Lauren, our international Cobbles Corrie-spondent.
Still reporting live from literally wherever she happens to be.
Honestly, at this point, she is basically global news coverage for Coronation Street.
Quick, somebody go get her a trench coat and a satellite van.
Vic, that is not in the budget, please.
Aww.
However, this week we have had a big week on the Cobbles.
Oh, does that mean we've caught the killer?
Maybe. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. I can confirm at this point, though, we've had massive story developments, drama everywhere, and some absolutely record-breaking numbers in this week's stats report.
I love that your stats are becoming increasingly unhinged.
The figures don't lie, Vic.
It's a really good job they're not regulated.
Plus, our brand new segment, Behind the Cobbles, returns this week.
And the question is, can any Corrie fact ever truly top Sir Ian McKellen randomly appearing on Corrie?
I fear not. A very high bar was set last week, but I am going to try.
Good luck.
So whether you are fully converted, Corrie curious, or just here for the chaos...
I pick the chaos.
For now. So Vic.
Yes?
Are you ready?
No.
Let's get into it. This week on Corrie. Okay, Vic, are you ready? I'm not going to keep you in anticipation any longer. We are going to start with the whodunit storyline this week.
Okay.
Yes. We have 4 storylines to get through, 1 mini and some observations this week. Let's go into it. Who done it? So this week, the focus was on Summer Spellman.
Okay.
So Summer Spellman, generally, I would say she's quite like meek and not the person you would expect of murder, which is why exactly she has been my prime suspect for weeks now, 4 weeks.
Yep.
So I've been waiting for this to happen.
Are you saying that you predicted it right, Em?
Am I saying I predicted it right? I'm actually not, but we'll get into that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so the week starts. Tomer and Summer continue to be suspicious. They're having like secret squirrels. George and the Undertaker and the cleaner are chatting at home. Separate scene at one point. Mm-hmm. And they're chatting, and then the Undertaker decides that he's going to tidy up. So he decides to go and pick up Summer's bag, which is on a chair, and pick it up from the bottom.
Of course.
Which is how all handbags should be picked
Always.
up. So obviously everything falls out of the bag, which includes the burn book, the infamous burn book from the other week.
Yeah.
So the logical thing to do when you find a girl's journal is to read it. So
yeah,
that's what,
of course.
Yeah. So that's what the Cleaner and the Undertaker did, and it's quite funny because she's Christina. The Cleaner's called Christina. So as she's so 2 things. She's reading it with like a bag of sweets that you would get, like Pick-a-Mix that you would get from the cinema. So it's like very like proper entertainment vibe. But they read out 1 line from it, and it goes. Someone had apparently written this, which seems realistic for an early 20-year-old woman to write. Theo had his guns out today, made me want to put a gun to his head.
Okay.
And I have never heard a woman refer to a male's muscles as guns. I've heard many, many men talk about their guns. Mm-hmm. I've heard women occasionally refer to their arms as their guns, but I've never heard it in like he's had his guns out.
Yeah.
Like he had his arms. I don't know, maybe.
I've only ever heard it in like the mocking tone that is.
Yeah, not in like a serious, he had his guns out. But anyway, apparently this is how a girl in their 20s talks.
Fine.
So anyway, yeah, they proceed to read the diary. Summer walks in and catches them reading it. She has a massive go at them. She then takes the diary and decides that the best thing to do is to put it on the barbecue and burn it. Because she's worried that the diary will point suspicion at her because it's all her saying how much she hates Theo.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then basically the motto of this week is the gang is falling apart. They are arguing left, right and centre. Yeah. So then what also happens in succession in this episode is Lisa's Connor Swain's wedding photos are back, and she is going through them. And Kit takes a look, and as he's looking at them, he spots the brooch that they found in the flat as evidence from a few weeks ago, and he spots that brooch on the outfit Summer is wearing.
Uh-oh.
So they call Summer in for questioning. So that was like Monday. Summer is under suspicion now from everyone, audience included. By Tuesday's episode, Kit has been put on a secondment in Wales, so he's not in it for the rest of the week.
Wait, what?
Interesting choice from the police. Yeah, because surely Weatherfield has a massive murder case going on.
Yeah.
Why is he on secondment in Wales?
And it doesn't seem like they've got that many cops to allow one to just leave. They seem to have two.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So, interesting choice. Yeah.
Cool.
So Kit's gone, so now it's all on Lisa. So Lisa gets... So, yeah, that's the thing as well. In when Summer is being questioned, she keeps going, I promise, I'm telling the truth. And I'm like, well, that's... I'm glad you promised. That must mean you're telling the truth.
That's how you know.
But I would say I did believe her. I actually do think Summer was telling the truth. So later on, she gets released and she's back at the house and she's talking to George, and she's basically saying, I didn't do it. Like, I just was scared that if, I didn't even see Theo that night. And then George goes, the Undertaker goes, that's not quite true, is it? Because he had seen Summer leaving the flat. So then that comes out. Christina, the cleaner, George tells her, because they're in a relationship, and she then convinces the Undertaker that he should tell Lisa, because he needs to not have the suspicion come back to him, and it's important to tell the truth. So he does. He tells Lisa. So then Summer kind of gets a bit of an inkling that Lisa knows this information, or that she's worried she's going to get caught. So Summer decides she's going to go on the run, basically. Summer packs a bag and she's decided she is going to take that that uni place in America, and she's going to go today.
Okay.
So she's running around to do that. She goes and sees Todd. Massive argument happens. Todd then, between all four of them, are like just yelling, and she turns around to Todd and is like, if you had never dated him, this would never happen. So everyone's just yelling, screaming.
Wonderful.
Todd then agrees that he will take her to the airport so she can go there in the car to go. Just as they reach the end of the Cobbles, police car comes in, Lisa Swain comes out, Summer Spellman is arrested. She is arrested for the murder of Theo Silverton.
But
I know.
Did she do it?
But did she do it? So she then goes to the police station for more questioning, and she has this epiphany moment where she realises that Tyrone Dobbs saw her on the Cobbles that night. Okay. So Lisa Swain goes to see Tyrone, and he denies it. He says that he didn't see her. So that wasn't a thing. Now, we, in the episode, get to see a flashback of that episode, and he did, in fact, see her.
Okay. So it's not her.
It's not her, I would say.
Okay.
It is not her, because you see her running away, and you can see Theo still alive in the upstairs window.
Okay, fine.
So Summer, in my opinion, has now been ruled out.
Mm-hmm.
We will come back to Tyrone, because that is an important bit of information, I think.
Okay.
Other things to add with the whodunit storyline that I think are important for this week. Christina, the cleaner, is acting increasingly shifty. Mm-hmm. She pretty much forced the Undertaker to go and tell the story about what was going on with Summer, under the pretense it was to get the light off of her, off of him. But I wonder if it was off of her. We found out in the week that her movements were not what they said they were to the police.
Oh, okay.
There are a couple of scenes where she's on a call. She's just acting particularly shifty this week. Is it another red herring? Don't know, but she is acting shifty.
Interesting.
Gary Windash, also acting shifty. There's a couple of comments where he just seems either unnecessarily angry, a bit shifty, or his, I think it's his ex, makes a comment that he's just not been himself lately.
Okay.
So he's acting increasingly suspicious. And obviously we've still got Todd, who just seems unnecessary. Like, I appreciate maybe the emotion he's trying to show is grief, but it's just not... there's something not quite sitting there for me. So for me, currently, I'm saying Summer, Undertaker out. Mm-hmm. Christine, Windash, Todd in for the front running. But at the moment, Summer Spellman is in prison. She is being held.
I mean, I'm with you. I think Personally, I think it's going to be end up being like Todd.
I think it is, you know.
I think that's why he went to drive her out the country, because he was like, if it looks like she's run, guilty, I'm free. Suspicious.
We are moving on to storyline 2. This week's storyline 2, we are into the mother-in-law. Will and the mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so the mother-in-law is still living at the hotel, which she was at the end of last week, because she got kicked out of the pub. The beginning scene of the week, oh my god, Vic, it was so funny. So it opens up with her sat on the doorstep of the Rovers, with her claiming that she had slept on the doorstep of the Rovers all night because she had nowhere to go.
Excellent.
And Eva's like, I know that's bullshit, you stayed at the Chariot Hotel. And she's like, no I didn't, I stayed in like a crack den. And she was like, no you didn't, I can see the card, you stayed in the Chariot Hotel, in the Chariot Hotel. But as she's coming in with Sean and Glenda, who are the 2 bartenders on that day in the Rovers. And Vic, their chemistry, their scene it was comedy gold. I kind of want you to watch it. I cannot explain it.
Okay.
But it was very good. Anyway, the mother-in-law came in. They had a massive row, but then it ended up with Eva and the mother-in-law hugging, because the mother-in-law was crying about everything that had happened, and Eva was kind of like, I think that enough is enough now. We need to kind of work this out. The landlord's back to moping. Whatever. We find out in the week that that Megan has been let out on bail.
Okay.
But she's not in the week, so I'm assuming she'll come out of the woodwork next week. But obviously this then stresses out Will, so we see quite a few times Will just having big emotional outbursts, and he doesn't show up for his exams, his GCSEs and stuff.
Perfect timing.
I know. Eva continues to, I mean, you'd think he'd get, you know how like, if you're sick through all your exams, you can get like special exemptions and stuff.
You would think there'd be something available to him.
Yeah. Eva again continues to be the voice of reason this week. Eva and the elder grandson organise a family dinner to invite the mother-in-law round. Landlord gets angry, basically announces in front of the 2 boys that their grandma had killed his dad. So I thought that was appropriate. Will's already struggling with enough, and now he thinks his grandma's a murderer. I was like, good one. He's just so self-absorbed. I don't like him at all. No, but we do find out in that bit, very tiny sentence, he has found out that he hasn't got the hereditary disease. Do you remember that big storyline that was happening a few weeks ago? And which is how the whole Who is Real Dad storyline came out. Yeah. So he's found out he doesn't have it. So that's good. That storyline has been done. Susie, the little girl, has a bit of a role this week, a bit more than usual. By the way, excellent actress, and I'm not even being sarcastic. She's like she's 8, and she's delivering lines like she's just really good. But she basically throws a bottle at someone in school because they were talking about Will, so she's like defending the fam. But the sass on her, Vic, it's brilliant. Absolutely.
That's what you get at 8 years old, sassy.
Exactly. Will is struggling. He has a chat with Tim one day, and then another day Bethany Platt spots him and is having a chat with him, and they're having like this really lovely chat. She's being really supportive, really kind, and then as she goes to stand up, she accidentally puts her hand on his hand, and he freaks out and is just like, are you trying to seduce me? Like, who are you? So I think people are starting to realise, and we're starting to see as the viewer, actually how troubled he is from what happened, which I think is good, because they weren't showing that before. So and I think that's it with that storyline. So Will struggling, mother-in-lawing, getting back in, Eva voice of reason, landlord continues to mope, and Susie is a legend.
Cool.
Storyline 3, Vic, the sister.
Excellent.
The sister is back this week. Obviously, last week we knew that she was living with Daniel now, since she broke into his house. He was obviously in hiding because he was struggling with him being, with the whole Megan, his association with Megan. She is still living there. But she does a little bit of shit stirring and basically tells him, she tells him that his son, Bertie, is struggling without him and has been wetting the bed. So that therefore makes him come out. It was kind of, I don't know why she went to that extreme, but it got him out of hiding, so that was good. But then he very quickly realised that she was lying. And then he goes back to the house and he's like, well, now that everybody knows I'm here and that Bertie's going to be moving back in with me, I think it's time you leave the house. You can't stay here anymore. So, but then all of a sudden, he starts getting an internet troll called Truth Teller, who starts tweeting about how how he knew about Megan and how he was awful and rah, rah, and he doesn't know who it is, and he leans on Jodie for support, and it's agreed that Jodie will stay. Who do you think truth teller is, Vic?
Jodie. It's obviously got to be Jodie.
It is obviously Jodie. Jodie is truth teller, which we find out through the week after he's blamed David Platt and got angry with a few people about it. It is Jodie. I find it interesting, actually. A lot of her mischief is all done online, which is quite interesting. So I'm wondering when it comes out, when her phone gets confiscated or whatever happens, they're going to see all of these things that she's done.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So basically, that's what happens. Truth teller, she's truth teller. She ends up staying at Daniel's. At one point, they're out for dinner because she's lied and said it's her birthday. She does get discovered in the same dinner because she wanted a free cake and a free bottle of Carver. We've all done.
Well, okay, fine. When you put it that way.
But Daniel, Shona and David walk in, and the sister invites them to have dinner with them. And when the sister and Shona go to the bar, David tries to warn Daniel, and he's just like, and Daniel just doesn't believe him, and is like, I know what happened between you two. Like, I don't believe you.
Nothing happened between them. Well,
exactly. Luckily, David doesn't seem to care. He's just okay.
She's probably grateful she's not living with them.
Exactly. So, that is where we're at with the sister storyline. How far is Jodie going to go before she goes too far? Because she is going to get herself discovered eventually. She's cut,
Surely.
Every other one of these things she's done, she's been like a layer removed. Like the Mel thing, she was a layer removed. Potentially George, layer removed. Like, she's always been a bit removed from it, whereas this one is very direct. So I'm thinking this is going to be the one where she gets discovered as a nutter.
I hope so. But also enjoying the level of
the confusion.
The levels that she's going to. It's kind of fun.
Do you know what? I am enjoying it, but I would rather that as a viewer we knew why she was doing it.
Okay.
I'm kind of liking the chaos she's causing on the street, but I would like to know why she's doing it. So
you want to know her history, is what you're saying?
I would like to know her history, and unfortunately, Vic, Google can't give me the answer because she doesn't have any.
The writers are still desperately trying to figure it out.
They really are. They need a big brainstorming sesh.
I can give them some ideas if they want.
Oh, okay. You get on that. You get on the Corrie hotline.
Okay, cool. I'll just give them a call. And
And that is storyline 3 of the week. Let's move on. Storyline 4. Storyline 4. We've not had this person as a leader of a storyline yet. Okay. So we've got Sarah Platt.
Okay. Yeah.
Infamously, the teenage pregnancy storyline.
Yeah.
Which we all know and love. So Sarah Platt, as we are aware, Sarah Platt got hit over the head on the night of the murder, the night of the wedding, when she snuck into the house, or when she went into the house because the dog was barking.
Yep.
And she got hit over the head by the sister, and obviously they don't know it was the sister who did that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, so Sarah Platt is struggling. She's obviously quite stressed out about it all, and Kit is obviously awake. Oh, so Kit and Sarah Platt are in a relationship.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Yeah, I knew that.
So they're in a relationship. So obviously she's struggling, and Kit's been sent away on this really random secondment to Wales.
Yep.
So
why not?
Yeah. So Carla is her boss at Underworld. Sarah Platt works at Underworld. And she's quite like a manager. I think she manages accounts and stuff. And Carla is worried about her because she keeps yelling at the staff and just isn't, you can tell she's not focused. She's very stressed. And so Carla is like, maybe you shouldn't, we've had a new big account start and I don't think you should work on it. I think Michael should work on it. And Sarah's like, no, I can do it. So Carla's like, okay, if you're sure, you can have it. And then later in that episode, we see Michael pulls her to one side and is like, you've ordered the wrong thing. And he's like, I can cancel it. I just wanted to check that this was right. And she's like, oh my God, how did I do that? So we can see like she is struggling. She is making mistakes. And then on Wednesday's episode, everybody's being quite silly in the factory, pushing each other around on chairs, seeing how many pairs of knickers they can get on their head.
Excellent.
Yeah, really interesting. And the interesting thing is Carla is the owner of Underworld, and she doesn't seem to care, but Sarah does, and is yelling at everyone.
Yeah, of course.
Well, so they keep they keep talking about it's the anniversary of someone's death. Now, obviously, I didn't watch the show then, but I have since I worked it out because it's part of the Swyler storyline, and I did a bit of Googling, and the person who died was Craig Tinker, who was a cop, basically, and he died on the job. It was his anniversary, so everyone was being a bit silly to distract Kirk, because Kirk was really good friends with him, or I think maybe an ex-father-in-law of him. I'm not really sure of that backstory. Not father-in-law, sorry, stepfather, I think, might have been a thing, but I'm not sure. And that's not important to the story. What is important is that Sarah is just yelling at people left, right and centre. So Carla calls her in to the offices and is just like, mate, you are not okay, kind of thing. And she also turns around to everyone because of what day it is and is like, look, if you can get this big contract out at 5 o'clock, I'll take you all to the Rovers and I'll buy you a drink.
Nice.
You can all have a drink on me.
She sounds like a great
boss.
So
they get it out, they go, yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts too. So they go to the next scene we see them in, they're at the Rovers and they're all having their free drink. Nice. Carla walks in to pay the tab and then she goes, hang on a sec, who's put a whole bottle of white wine on here? Sarah Platt comes out and is pissed as a fart. And yes, so Carla's like, okay, you are not okay. No. And basically takes her off the contract and puts Michael on it by the end of the week.
Yeah.
And that's where we are with Sarah Platt at this point. We shall see what happens there.
Yeah. So people know that she got attacked at this wedding?
Yes. Okay, yeah, fine. They do. And that's why I think that Carla's not firing her.
Yeah, okay.
Or not even... She hasn't done anything fireable, I would say. She's just been a bit difficult to work with. Mm-hmm. That's why I think Carla's giving her being patient, rather than pulling her in and being like, you're shit at your job, stop yelling at people, kind of thing. That being said, she allowed the workers to sit there and play a game where they put as many pairs of knickers on their heads as they could. So maybe Carla's just reached a point where she's happily married and doesn't give a shit about her work.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, you get married and you go, I'm done.
I'm good. I mean, I think if I worked in an underwear factory, and it was just, it's a bit of a boring job. You need to find some light-hearted fun somewhere. I would probably also be playing the game of who could fit the most underwear on their head.
And also, I'd probably wanted to see how many I could fit on my head, and at what point does it increase your pain threshold? You know that with Joey and Friends, where he puts the... Yeah. That's what I would be doing.
So you'd be putting one pair, getting a slap around the head. I can still feel it.
Yeah.
Ow. I'm there.
Yeah. Sounds like a great fun. Let's go work in an underwear factory, Vic. Storyline 5 is so quick, it's going to be come and gone before anything.
Okay.
We've got a tiny little update on Sam, Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Roy was back on Monday's episode. That's it. That's my update.
That's it.
Bad Roy was back.
Okay,
Bad Roy has not gone away.
Cool.
Bad Roy was back. I loved it. And then we didn't really see much more of him, if I'm being honest. He was like in bits, but we didn't see a development of that storyline.
Okay.
So now I'm going on to my observations of the week. Yeah. I mentioned in storyline 1 that Tyrone was Summer's alibi or whatever, or witness, and he denied it. Now, cast your mind back, Vic, to the night of the murder, the night of the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Webster had a car dropped on him.
Yep.
We saw Ronnie pick him up and take him to the hospital, but we didn't see him drop the car on him. I'm wondering if it was Tyrone Dobbs that dropped the car on.
Okay. Why?
Because the garage, the car garage, is right next to the knicker factory where they were all at the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Which is also right by Theo and Todd's place. So it could align perfectly. And I think that Tyrone had an issue with Carl Webster. I think Carl Webster hit him with a car last year.
Okay.
So Tyrone is not a Carl Webster fan, a big bad boldy fan. So I think...
Interesting.
I think that's going to be happening. Yes.
Quick question though. Go. On the note of somebody dropping a car on this guy, why is that not being investigated?
Yeah, I know.
They just don't care about it?
Put a pin in that.
Okay, cool.
Not important.
Solve the murder first, then look at who's dropping cars on people.
Exactly. Cool. And in all fairness, Vic, we're still in April on Coronation Street, I think. So, we've got time.
I'm not sure we are anymore.
I don't know where we are. I don't. Okay, cool. So that's like a little observation there. Next one is Tim and Sally and Sean and Glenda. They need more scenes of them gossiping in the pub.
Okay.
Like, absolutely hilarious. And just their conversations in general, they're so random. Tim turned around to Sally earlier in the week, which led to the most bizarre social media post I've ever put up, which was where he said, if you were a food, which one could you be? Yeah. So I then just associated everyone from Corrie with a vegetable, and it seemed it seemed important.
I enjoyed that TikTok. I thought it was fun.
Me too.
Say that.
But yes. Yeah. But they need more scenes together. There was a lot of gossiping this week.
Excellent.
There was Tim and Sally, Glenda and Sean, and then Cassie and Steve McDonald were all stood gossiping as well. Now, in all fairness, I'm saying there was a lot of gossiping this week. That was all within the first 10 minutes of the first episode of the week.
Okay, fine.
But I loved it. The whole Monday's episode was TV gold.
Okay.
And I'm staying that and I'm sticking to that, and you will not convince me otherwise.
Okay, if you say so.
Other thing that happened this week, Roy's Rolls has finally reopened after the fire.
About time.
Very, very much enjoyed this because he was inviting people to come for the big reopening and the big refurb, and everyone's like, oh, I'm excited to see what he's done. How is it going to look different? And blah, blah, blah. And they walk in and he's made absolutely no changes.
Excellent.
To the
Perfect.
way it is. Looks exactly the same. And I thought, do you know what? You're a man that knows what you like.
Yep.
So,
if
well
it
done.
ain't
Good, Roy.
broken, don't fix it, you know? All that.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're going to finish the what's happened on Corrie this week with some little Swala observations because you know what, Vic Swala were in it, and it's important that we talk about them every time they're on screen.
Of course it is. Yes,
for
absolutely.
Me, yeah. I mean, they're part of the reason this podcast exists.
That is true.
One Swala observation that I very much enjoyed, which obviously earlier I mentioned that Lisa was dropping Summer back at in Coronation Street after she questioned her, and Todd started having a massive go at her, and he's on the street like just yelling at this policewoman, yelling at Lisa, you know, how can you think she's done it, you're stupid, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Carla walks up, who is not a police officer. She's just a bit scary. She walks up and she goes, everything all right? Todd instantly, you can literally see him gulp. Like, he's like, oh, okay. And he just shuts up and he just stops. Excellent. And she just glares at him. And I was like, that's hilarious.
That's the kind of power you want in the world, isn't it?
We all need a Carla Connor in our lives, I think, to
Absolutely.
be fair. Yeah, so that was funny. Observation number 2. So we saw a lot more of Lisa. We've seen a lot of Lisa the last few weeks anyway, because obviously she's
got a big job to do.
She's got a big job to do, but what I'm finding increasingly frustrating is the way people are reacting to her, as if she's choosing to just go around, like it's her job to go around and investigate. And if she wasn't, they'd be mad at her. But every time that she takes someone in for questioning, Todd's reaction is insane.
That's because he killed her.
I mean, I think you might be right, but yeah, I'm finding that completely ridiculous.
Yep.
Observation number 3. So on Wednesday, Carla and Lisa are going on a date night, but Carla goes into the pub, obviously to pay off her bill. Mm-hmm. And a few people are like, oh, you look really fancy, you're dressed up. But the two people say it, and separately, and they both say, we really like your pants. As in her trousers. But I was like, we're British. Yeah. We say trousers. So I was a bit confused as to why they were saying pants. Yeah. So if there is anyone from Corrie that listens, or anyone who lives in Manchester, do we say pants in Manchester?
Not that I'm aware of. But but she makes underwear, so are they actually just talking about pants?
No, because she walked into the pub with trousers on.
But they could
in with just her knickers out.
No, but they could be like a comment. Oh, they're probably wearing her underwear. They seem to be, big business up there.
No,
so they could be like, you make really good pants,
No, they didn't say you make really good pants. Or
because that's
they weren't
weird.
Talking about knickers. She walked in wearing fancy trousers. They were leather trousers.
Fine.
And one person went, "Oh, I love your pants." And looked at her trousers. So unless she can see through her trousers and is looking at her knickers,
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe and then her pants are falling down.
They weren't, Vic. And then Sarah Platt comes out and is like drunk and is going, "Ooh, I love your pants." And I'm like, but she's not. She's wearing trousers.
She's drunk. She could have been She probably did mean pants, underwear pants.
True. I mean, I'm wondering if they're appeasing an international audience. Probably. Because we all know that Corrie's international. Yeah. But even still, everybody knows that in the UK we call them trousers. Mm-hmm. It's a UK show. Like, call them trousers!
passionate about that.
Now? I'm going to get someone in the comments saying, actually in Manchester we call them pants.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like,
okay,
that's
cool.
fine. I will concede to that. And apart from that, only other observation was there were more scenes of Kirk. Kirk's a legend. Kirk should be in it more often. And that, Victoria, is what's been happening on Corrie this week.
Wonderful.
Okay, Victoria, we are moving on. We are moving on to the Coronation Street Stats Report. Now, as I said in the intro, the Coronation Street Stats Report is off the scale this week.
Oh, no.
Is it because Corrie was a crazily, amazingly big week, or is it because I was paying more attention than usual? Who knows?
More attention than usual.
I'm going to quick fire this because we have got a lot to get through, and I think there's going to be a couple that strike debate. So let's start with, we're not doing the white wine tally. That is the one tally I did not pay any attention to.
Fine.
So
many
I've
bottles.
written down 2. Well, I've written down 2, and we already know that's a lie because Sarah Platt drank a whole bottle to herself.
There you go.
So that's wrong. But what we do have, don't be dafts. We're starting with the don't be daft. We have got 2 times that the word daft was used.
Okay. Does it? Sure.
Yes. Fancy a brew? 3. Moments I yelled at the TV, what are you doing? Was a 3. One of those was when George decided to pick up a handbag upside down.
Yeah. That's justified.
So, just villain energy, we had 3. Suspicious behaviour was on a 4, all with a sister again.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, always a sister at the moment. Meaningful stares, we were on to a 7 for the meaningful stares. And I'm pretty sure it was mostly the mother-in-law, if I'm being honest.
Just staring off into the distance at the rovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Take me back.
Exactly. And this is the part, Vic, where the numbers are going to go off.
Okay.
Gasps this week. We had 8 gasps this week.
Okay. That's not bad.
Conversations that happened in public that should have happened at home.
Many.
We had 10.
Of course. Of course.
Arguments and stormouts, we had 12.
Wow.
But most importantly, Vic, the laughs of the week. Now, bearing in mind, last week, we had a quiet week. We were on a 14 last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, did Corrie make up for it this week
God.
or not? We are on 43. 43
Really?
laughs of the week. Yes, we are.
That...
Which, if I just do some quick maths, that is a laugh every 2.5 minutes of content.
Jesus. Okay. That's...
Yeah. Honestly,
That's incredible.
I've got extra laughter lines on this week.
That seems like too many. It's too many laughs for such a dramatic week.
Vic, if you don't do anything with your life, watch Monday's episode of Coronation Street.
Is that where all your laughs happened? Where you just did a laugh a second?
There was 24 at the end of that episode. And bearing in mind the episode was 22 minutes long.
That is literally a laugh a minute.
I was just laughing the whole way through.
Oh my God.
Okay, Vic, we are going to move on to our awards this week. Villain of the week, we have a choice of 2.
Okay.
Now, even though I've said there were 3 counts of villain energy, I actually can't... When I was pulling together the awards, I couldn't remember when they were from, so I was struggling with this. But I've gone with Tyrone and Sister.
Okay.
Sister, as per usual,
Classic.
I think she's more suspicious than villainous, but she deserves it. Tyrone, because I do believe that he dropped a car. That isn't why. The reason he got it is because he didn't back up. Summer is currently stuck in prison because he lied about where he was. Now, that is probably more cowardly behaviour, but a coward is a villain. A villain is a coward.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry. So, I think for me this week, Vic, Tyrone is our villain of the week.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to have to be.
Yep.
Yeah. Our MVP of the week. Now, our MVP of the week, Vic, our most valued player, actually comes in duos this week.
Okay.
And we have a choice of 3. We have got Glenda and Sean,
Okay.
who were our comedy bartenders.
Yep.
We have got Sally and Tim, comedy couple. And then we've got Cassie and Steve McDonald, who were comedically gossiping at one point, which I don't think I actually told you, but they were comedically gossiping. And I have to give it to Glenda and Sean because they were solely responsible for my 24 laughs in Monday's episode. So they win my MVP of the week. We have a Comedy Moment of the Week award, and we again have 3 options.
Okay.
One is Cassie and Steve gossiping by the car, which we didn't really talk about, but that was very funny. Yep. Cassie basically kept just yelling at people, "You're right, babe. You're right, babe," and just yelling at people, which was quite funny.
Okay.
Then there was the whole scene with Sean and Glenda. Honestly, TV gold. Can't recommend it enough. And then the other comedy, so they weren't necessarily like a one moment. It was just a comedy arc.
Okay.
Was Roy reopening the cafe after the refurb and it being exactly the same.
Oh, Roy.
Now, obviously, it's hard for you to pick this award when you've not watched the show.
Yeah.
But from the way I've talked about them, would you like to pick the award?
I mean, my award's going to Roy. Classic Roy move, that.
I will allow that.
Okay,
I'll allow it.
Thanks.
Roy reopening the Refurbs Cafe exactly the same as it was when it left. Wins the Comedy Moment of the Week. Now, I'd just like to give you a quick honourable mention to my favourite line of the week. It's not winning an award, just an honourable mention to mother-in-law and Eva. Mm-hmm. So Eva is saying to mother-in-law, when mother-in-law is saying that she was outside the Rovers all night, Eva says, "If you've been down there all night, my name is Carol Vorderman." And then the mother-in-law goes, "Then I'll have a consonant, please, Carol." And I was like, why are we... What, is that a thing? If that's that, I'll be Carol Vorderman. Normally you'd say, if that's that, our pigs can fly, or, you say something absurd, but I'll be Carol Vorderman. So, something I'll be bringing into my everyday language.
Excellent. Love a countdown.
Yep.
Like, it's not countdown. It is countdown.
It is. That is
countdown joke.
There should be more countdown references in life.
There should.
And Vic, that is our awards of the week.
They were good. I like them. Yeah.
We are moving on to Last Orders. Last Orders is a part of the show where we take a character from the street and we decide if we would go to the pub with them. And today we are picking Summer Spellman.
I wouldn't go to the pub with her now. She's fucking in prison.
I mean, be a cheap date. She wouldn't be there.
True.
Tell me your thoughts on Summer Spellman, please.
Don't know much about her. Feel like she's been wrongly accused. I'm sad by that. If she gets out of prison, I'll take her for a drink. I feel like she'll need one after that. So,
yeah.
Don't know too much about her, so.
No, I would say Summer Spellman has had a really tough year.
Yeah.
Because obviously her dad died at the beginning of the year. She's now in prison, accused of murder. Her father figure she found out was being really severely abused, which was obviously very tough. And she's at uni, which is stressful anyway. Yeah. My observation of Summer as a character, I don't think she's someone I'd necessarily be friends with. I find her a bit drippy, in the nicest possible way. I don't think she'd be the person who'd be the life and soul in the pub. I think you could have a nice enough chat. Yeah. I don't know if she's necessarily my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a drink with her.
No.
So, let's go for small talk ability.
I mean, she's going to have plenty of prison stories now, so... Just saying.
And exactly. I'm gonna say let's give her a 3.
Yeah.
I think she probably can make some small talk. I think she probably could make small talk. I just don't think I would find it interesting.
Yeah. Fair enough.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Drama risk.
I mean, she sounds quite high. She's getting left, right, and centre. So
every scene this week, she's yelling at someone.
Exactly.
I think we're gonna have to give her a 5 because even if she wasn't, her burn book, the stuff that she's got going on in her head, that girl has drama.
Yeah, definitely, definitely drama.
Yeah. Gossip value.
I mean, she's got a whole burn book of it.
Fair.
She's got some serious gossip.
Would she share it? Would she be gossiping in the pub?
I mean, it's quite an open space to be gossiping about things, so...
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a little booth in the back, she could flip out her burn book before she burnt it. And
well, just show people her burn book. Yeah. Look what I've been writing about, people.
Yeah.
I've been writing about Theo's guns.
There you go.
I'm going to give her... Oh, this is tough. She doesn't really strike me as gossipy.
No.
I think that's why I say she's not my cup of tea. I like a good old. I'm up there with Sally and Tim and Glenda and Sean. I'm like, let's have a good old gossip here, please.
If you can't gossip about the people around you, then
no, exactly. So I think I'm going to give her a 2. Yeah. I think.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Vibe check. So here's my opinion. I think she's nice. I think she's lovely. I think that she would be kind and polite. Besides all the stuff that's happening currently, I think she would be... you'd go for a picnic or you'd go for a coffee and a cake. I love a coffee and a cake.
I mean,
there's absolutely no judgment with any of this stuff. I love a picnic. I love a coffee and a cake. I don't think you'd ever go for a night getting absolutely rat-arsed in the pub, which is something I also like. So
like a vibe check, like a 2. Maybe a 3.
I think her vibe check... It's depending on my mood, I think. Yeah. I think you have those times where you're like, I just want to go for a walk and have a cake. Mm-hmm. And then you have those times where you're like, I just want to get unnecessarily day drunk on a Saturday because the sun's out.
Why not?
So I think for me, I'm going to go 3.
Yeah.
I think she's got an all right vibe. I think she's fine. Exit plan needed.
I think, honestly...
After this week.
After this week, maybe you need one. Actually, she's the exit plan. She'll get arrested.
Lisa Swain will just take her away.
Yeah. But honestly, by the sounds of things, I don't think you'll need one. I think the night will just organically end.
Yeah. I don't think we're making it to last orders. I think she'll have a couple and then need to go home.
Yeah.
So, second probability, I'm saying yes, I would stay for another because I think it would be fine. It would be lovely. It would be nice. Mm-hmm. But I think that it would be a couple of pints. All right, that was nice. Let's see again. We'll have another drink in like a month's time. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, not a horrendous time, but not one to write home about either.
Agreed.
Okay, Vic, we are moving on to our brand new segment, Behind the Cobbles.
Excellent.
This is the part of the show where I am trying to pull you into Coronation Street with a little bit of trivia.
I like it.
As we know, and that's it, last week, I think it was peak. Have I overdone it? Did I start the bar too high? We will find out. We will. So, this week, my bit of trivia comes all the way from 1960.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Old trivia.
So it is old trivia. So this show started, as we know, in December of 1960. And did you know that the very first episode of Coronation Street was broadcast live?
No way.
Yes.
That seems like a risk.
Well, yes. But actually, Vic, it wasn't uncommon in the 50s, 60s and 70s for TV shows to be broadcast live.
That is cool.
And the reason for that was because it was more expensive to record the shows than it was to just send them out, basically. So how Corrie did it, so when they first got signed off, they got signed off for 13 eps.
Wow.
And so they did the Friday episode live, and then the Wednesday episode was pre-recorded, but it was recorded on the Friday night.
Okay.
And then done. So the turnaround for it was literally within the week.
Wow.
2 episodes, it was done and out. And then it wasn't until, so in the February of 1961, they went to fully recorded, just because it got recommissioned and the needs and demands of the show were so much greater that they couldn't do it. They couldn't do the live show like that. So that's why it became pre-recorded. And then obviously it became industry norm from like the 70s onwards. So in the 70s, it was kind of like in the 60s, it was a mix of recorded, pre-recorded, and then by the 70s everything was recorded. Okay. And that was because demands changed from the viewer, viewing habits changed, people wanted to see more of a cinematic experience. Obviously if you can record it, you can have different angles with the cameras, you can edit out the mistakes, you can put different grades on the screen, on the filming, so it's better quality, you can improve the sound, you can do so much more when it's recorded. And I can only assume that the cost of recording it came down. I actually didn't find that bit of information out, or certainly can't remember it off the top of my head right now. So the first series of Coronation Street, half the episodes were live, half the episodes were pre-recorded.
That's pretty cool.
That is
It'd be interesting to know, and like how they, like what they did if an actor fluffed their lines or.
I think they just went with it because obviously it was like they were on stage essentially.
Yeah.
So they just kind of had to go with it. And so this is another interesting fact I found out off the back of this. So you know how like you will hear about lost episodes of TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason why there were lost episodes of TV shows is because they would record the show whilst it was live, but then they would reuse the tape and record it over it.
Yeah.
So that's why the shows were lost, because it was so expensive to film on tape that they recorded over them. So apparently this is why Doctor Who has got so many lost episodes of TV of its early shows, because they were all live. How mental was that in the 50s and 60s it was all live?
Yeah, I mean, what if you wanted to go back and watch something? Nope, can't do that. Like, if you missed the first
streaming service those days.
No, if you missed that first 5 minutes, you're buggered. No stopping to go make drinks.
Exactly. And what if you have a sneezing fit mid-record?
Go with it. Go with it, I guess.
Go with it. Also, what I found really fun was that, well, maybe not fun, but obviously back in the day, the pre-recorded show they did was obviously filmed on I read somewhere that it was filmed on the Friday. I read somewhere that it was over the course of, like, it was recorded earlier in the week and then edited or whatever, with like minimal editing. So it would take a week, essentially.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it is filmed 6 to 8 weeks prior to TX.
Oh, wow.
So before it's transmitted on TV. So, like, the complete opposite. I appreciate it was 66 years ago. The world has changed dramatically in
Just
that
a little
time.
bit.
But the fact that they managed to do it in a week's turnaround to now. And what I found super interesting is that very first episode of Coronation Street, it is on ITV.
Is it?
It is. So I'm very tempted just to go back and watch it to see if you can see it live, like what it's like or whatever.
Definitely do that.
I know. And so just quickly, since then, they have done 3 live shows.
Okay.
They did one in the year 2000.
Okay.
Because it was Corrie's 40th anniversary.
Yep.
They did one in 2010 for Corrie's 50th anniversary.
Yep.
And they did one in 2015 for ITV's 60th anniversary.
Okay. But not Corrie's 60th, that didn't get.
Corrie's 60th didn't get one, but that would have been COVID.
Oh, yeah,
so
okay, fine.
They probably wouldn't have been able to if they tried.
Yeah.
Unless everyone's running around in masks and have got screens dividing them and all sorts of nonsense.
Topical. Topical is,
Topical. And actually, if they did it in line with, it would have been December 2020. I think was the second peak COVID time. So there's no chance.
Just be 4 actors as a bubble. That's it. With camcorders.
Yeah, exactly. Or just a Zoom live episode. Actually, they should have done that.
I feel like some shows did that, didn't they? I feel
like there were some shows that did that. I feel like there was definitely some Zoom shows. Do you remember the Zoom Ratatouille live that was done on TikTok or something?
I don't remember that one.
Did you enjoy that fact?
I did enjoy that fact. I did. It was interesting. Kind of, you know how, like, I know it's on every night of the week, but I'm kind of like, have it on every night of the week, but like make one of them live. Do a Friday night live, or like a Monday night live. Whatever.
Yeah, no, Friday Night Live. Do Friday Night Live.
Yeah, but that sucks for the actors, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thursday Night Live.
Thursday Night Live. Woo!
Anyway, that is Behind the Cobbles. Okay, we're moving on to the part of the show with Legacy Lauren. And Legacy Lauren is our Cobbles correspondent. As we know, last week she was away.
Yep.
This week she is away again. So she has taken... I know. So this week she has taken the podcast on the road for the second time.
Nice.
And shall we see what she's got for us?
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Legacy Lauren here, reporting live from Chicago, the Windy City. And I'm here with my friend Brian to give him some insight into the world of Corrie. Hello, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so fascinated by this, whatever this show is. I haven't seen it. Sounds fun, I think.
Well, I'm gonna teach you all about Corrie, and at the end, I'm going to ask if you want to watch it. Now, when you think of Chicago, you think of the legendary criminal underworld. But let me tell you, Brian, when I say the word underworld to a Coronation Street fan, we are not talking gangsters or speakeasies or Al Capone. What do you think Coronation Street's underworld actually is?
Oof. Well, I know this is supposed to be something about royalty, so maybe I don't know, like vampires, like the vampire realm, the undead, and they take over the Queen's Palace, something like that, right? Some mystical spirits of the underworld, right? I don't know. Am I close?
I see where you went there with Coronation Street and Underworld, but in fact, Underworld is a knicker factory. Does the word knicker translate?
Knicker, I think. Oh, this sounds like it's mildly inappropriate, but I think like the phrase "don't get your knickers in a twist." So I think that's ladies' underwear. Is what Underworld is?
Correct. It is a ladies' underwear factory. So not quite as threatening as Al Capone or the
What a show.
criminal underworld. But there you go. Are you intrigued enough to start watching it? Maybe you are. We'll see.
Maybe. No vampires. We'll see.
But
what
knicker
else
factories.
Yeah, knicker factories. Wow.
Well, so it's not all, it's not all about knickers on the street. There is a bit of a body count. There's some murders that happen on the street. Now, I'm going to give you a murder weapon, and I would like you to tell me, do you think this belongs to a Chicago mobster or a Coronation Street villain? Now, the murder weapon I'm going to give you is an office hole punch.
Office hole punch? I mean, when I hear that, it sounds like you're talking about an office hole punch, but I feel like that it's a code word for something else. So I'm thinking, there's this movie called No Country for Old Men. There's like this tool that they use. It's supposed to be a humane tool, but it like punches holes. I don't want to get, again, I don't know the age range of this of the listeners, so we're just going to keep it PG and say it's a tool that they use on farms, and they're using it on the streets now, on the Coronation Street, if you will. Is that what it is?
So you think it's a Corrie murder weapon? Well, you are correct. It is a murder weapon that's been used on the street, but it is in fact just the office hole punch that you would find in an office to punch holes in paper.
No.
Yeah, that has been used.
What? At the knicker shop? Unbelievable. This might be a show I want to watch.
Okay, cool. Hold that thought. Now, the other thing, as well as Chicago underworld and criminal and mobsters and Al Capone, Chicago is also famous, and I have eaten this, for deep dish pizza. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's my favorite.
So, is it? Okay, yeah, I did.
It is, yeah.
I thought it was good. So Weatherfield has its own cuisine. So if you walked down the Cobbles and you saw a shop called For Your Fries Only, what food do you think they're selling in that shop?
For your fries only. That's a bond to James, but it sounds like a silly pun. For your fries only. So it must be like I know this is Britain, this is fries. It's not poutine, which is French, but I'd say like a fancy fry place. Is that like disco fries, like some exotic fry cuisine?
It's not exotic, but it is fries. It is actually French fries or chips. We would say chips. This is a chippy.
Oh, right.
For your fries only, it's a chippy. Okay, what about Roy's Rolls? What kind of food establishment is Roy's Rolls?
It sounds like dyslexia. I think you meant to say Rolls Royce. It sounds like a car dealership. It sounds like a car. Roy's Rolls. Yeah, it's like they sell cars. It's a Roy sells cars, right? Roy's Rolls.
No, I see what you mean, but no. In fact, Roy's Rolls is a cafe. It's a cafe. You could get, Brian, a bacon butty or a chip butty.
Oh, a chip butty.
And you could get a brew. Now, I asked this in New York last week. What do you think a brew is?
Well, a brew's got to be a beer. I mean, it's got to be, right?
That's what they said. It's a cup of tea.
Oh, a brew.
So yeah, you could get a brew and a bacon butty in Roy's Rolls. Okay, final food question. What goes into Betty's hot pot? What do you think Betty's hot pot is?
Betty's hot pot. I mean, here in Chicago, our hot pots they're not Chicago, they're from China. It's like a Chinese hot pot, kind of like the French have like a fondue where it's like cheese, but you get a broth. You get a broth and you throw some meat in there. Is that what it is? That
okay? Yeah,
I see what you
mean. So it has got meat in it, but it's like slow cooked meat, like mutton maybe, and it's like a stew, and then it's got potatoes on top. That's a hot pot. And Betty was this character on the street who made the best hot pot ever. So you know what? If we're gonna do a Chicago Corrie like collab, we would have to put Betty's hot pot ingredients in a deep dish pizza.
I'll tell you, I could see a lot of Chicagoans eating that. I mean, we've got some crazy food here. That sounds like right up their alley. I'd be willing to try it if you did it.
Okay.
I'd eat that.
All right. Well, we'll stick a pin in that. That may be a future business idea. Okay. So those are the facts about Corrie. You've done a really good job. What do you think your chances are of watching this British national treasure of a TV show?
Well, I think the fact that there's a little bit of murder, and I would define it as aggressively British, using a heavy-duty hole punch. That is aggressively British. That in and of itself makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I know this has been a long-standing show, and so if this podcast could gain some momentum, I would ask the showrunners, consider vampires. I think you could go really far with converting the underworld into a realm of vampires or other, various undead. But I'd love to give it a shot. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, listen, Emily, who is one of the hosts of the podcast, she wants to be on Corrie. So maybe you could join her in a Halloween vampire special.
Perfect. I'll be the vampire. That's perfect.
You be the vampire. Okay. All right. There we go.
Thank you.
Well, this is the perfect plan. I can't see any flaws here. So my work here is done. So thank you, Brian. Round of applause.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. And this is Legacy Lauren in the Windy City, over and out.
Honestly, I think I love Brian.
Brian's great.
I I agree with his contribution to the show. Let's get more vampires in, Corrie. You know,
That's what it's missing, clearly.
I loved his enthusiasm,
Yeah.
and more importantly, his British accent. Spot on.
It's great. Nailed it.
Okay, anyway, Vic, we are moving on to the most important part of the show, the reason we are all here. We want to know, where are you on the Corrie Conversion Scale? Obviously, this week we have had some updates on the Who Done It. We've got some movement in the Will storyline. We've got a Sarah Platt drama, which we've not had so far. The tallies were off the charts. We had a Last Orders with Summer Spellman. Possibly not a good choice. I don't think you know her that well. We had some great awards. We had a new Behind the Cobbles, and we had some enthusiastic input from our Chicago friends. Tell me, Vic, where are you at? What are your thoughts? Are you moving up?
So it's been a week. You are correct. I think I am enjoying the trivia. I would like for you, not me, for you to go back and compare the lives from the most recent to the very first. I think it'll be a real fun time for you. Not me.
Okay, noted.
I mean, maybe the first one. Maybe we'll tap in for the very first one to see the 60-year.
Sorry. Are you just saying that you are prepared to watch an episode of Coronation Street?
Did you
just hit 10?
No,
ding, ding,
no,
ding, ding, ding.
no.
She's a 10. She's a 10.
No. I will consider. Is what I think I said. The first one, the very first, just to see what the hell TV was like back then, because it sounds fucking mental. Storylines this week. I'm a bit sad. I'm a bit sad that they've arrested Summer. I don't think she's the murderer, but I get why they've done it, and they like that there's progress. So, come on. Let's get there. And the rest of the storylines have kind of been a bit. I mean, Sister's mental, absolutely mental. There's nothing else I can say about her. That is her.
She's nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this weekend it's been. I've liked your descriptions. It's been good. Like the trivia. Keep that up.
I mean, in my head, you're a 10.
No.
You're a 10. You've just agreed to watch an episode.
Not currently. I'm not starting to watch it, though, am I? Which is the whole purpose of this podcast. You're not getting me to watch future episodes. I'm not going to sit down every night and start watching it on TV. I am going to say, though, I don't think I can go a full 4. I'm not there. But I will go with a 3.75.
Up from a 3.5?
Yeah.
Is that where we were at last week?
I hope so, because that's where my head is. So.
Okay. I'm happy there is movement. To be honest with you, this is my logic. I'm happy there's movement, even if it's 0.25. I mean, Sir Ian couldn't get you to go up last week, but we can on the live app. So I am happy with that, to be honest with you. I am happy that you have confirmed that you will watch an episode of Corrie.
Consider watching.
The very first episode. You will watch an episode from 1960. But do you know what? At this point, I will take what I can. And the next time I am around you, we will sit down together and watch that first episode of Coronation Street.
Okay.
I can't. In my head, you're a 10.
I'm not a 10.
You're a 10. I don't care what you're saying. You are a 10.
I'm not a 10.
Right, guys, you have heard it here first. I am so excited. Vic is now a 10.
No.
Pretending she's a 4.
I am not a 10. I am not even a 4, Em. I'm a 3.75.
Vic is a 10, gaslighting us, pretending she's a 3.75. Come back next week to hear if she's got any higher on that scale. We are getting traction, guys. We are getting progress, not perfection. We are making it there. And you've heard it here first. I'm Emily.
And I'm Vic.
And this is Why Won't You Watch Corrie? That's a wrap. If you've liked what you've heard this week, then why don't you go follow us on socials? We are on at Why Won't You Watch, at TikTok, on TikTok, Insta, X, and all of the above. If you're listening to this over the bank holiday weekend, please enjoy the sun, have a beer on me, because what a delightful weekend we have got in
Store.
Site, in line, in store, in store. Thank you, Victoria. Let me know if you've watched the first episode of Corrie, because I will definitely be doing that this week. I'll watch it again with Vic, but I will be watching it this week. And let us know if there's anything you liked, anything you didn't like. Send us a message, send us an email, say something to us online. Just please interact with us. We want to hear from you. And that's all.
And that's a wrap, folks.